Hello, everyone. We are streaming. Awesome. Hello, hello. I'm just going to take a moment as you guys are hopping on. I'm just going to pull up the group chat so I can see what's going on in the group. So I can see your questions and see who's here with me. Awesome. Okay. How is everyone today? Hope you're all well. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. All right, beautiful sisters. Welcome to today's training. What we are going to talk about today is within sacred sexuality, as always. But what I really wanted to go into was talking about orgasms and pleasure for your wellness. And I'm so excited anytime that I get to speak to this, because this is something that for so many women is part of what restrains us from feeling that full permission for being able to even consider, let alone appreciate our pleasure. Hebe, hello. I'm so happy you're here. So the more that we have these conversations, the more that we open up that permission piece, the more that we open up. So we have these conversations about things that may be uncomfortable. And the more we talk about them, the more comfortable they become. So it's taking the things that are uncomfortable, making them comfortable, making the things that are unmentionable, mentionable. And for so many women, orgasms and pleasure is something, like I said, just that missing permission piece. So when we get to talk about it as something that's actually for our health and our wellness, this flips everything sort of upside down on its head. So this is 100% why this is what we're going to talk about today. And how yummy is this, right? We're getting to talk about orgasms and pleasure, and it's something for our health. So what I really wanted to look at first was orgasms, because this is, again, often something people go into a sexual practice, or it's attached to their sexuality, that if I'm self-pleasuring or if I'm having a sacred sex session with someone, it's all about the orgasm, right? Like, it's like that can be the thing that lies in our heads, thinking this is where I have to get to. And if we're sitting there the whole time thinking this is where I have to get to, that itself is likely holding us back from ever being able to get there. It's completely pulling us out of the now, out of the presence. And with what we know about feminine energy, it's taking us out of our feminine expression, which is to be receiving, right? So if we have something that's just stuck up here telling us, got to get to orgasm, this is what it's about, we're not allowing ourselves to be in our feminine, completely open and receptive, completely in connection to the experience through our five senses. I like to say six, because it also keeps us from that intuitive sense, again, that is so attached to the feminine. So yes, I'm so glad you're feeling this, Hebe. So we want to let go of everything, all those attachments that we have around orgasm. And so again, the more that we can talk about it, the more that we can begin to cut those cords of attachment. So one of the things that I wanted to open with today to talk about is looking at orgasms from that sense, because this is, yes, they are for pleasure, but that is just the cherry on top. The core of an orgasm is that it is for your health. Full permission to access the realm of orgasms, full permission to talk about it, full permission to experience it, full permission to want to explore and figure out how to have them. Later, what we're going to talk about 5 different orgasms, or the 5 different ways that they can influence your health. So each one, and this is the power too, when we can get out of attachment and just into the moment and into the presence and reception mode, we allow ourselves to have a spontaneous orgasm. And which means what we've done is we've given faith in our body to give us what we need. So our body knows intuitively what it is that we need. And so in this sense, your orgasm is like medicine. So what I wanted to first talk about is we can have orgasms that drain. So orgasms are for your health when you are having a high level orgasm. There is such a thing as orgasms that will drain, and these are low level orgasms. So there are ways, as most of us have probably experienced, where when we are having an orgasm, it feels frustrating, draining. It doesn't feel high energy. And after we feel exhausted, sometimes because sex is an energy exchange, if you're having sex with another person, you can feel a complete energy shift. Then that's a whole other conversation to have. So there's orgasms that can drain. These are our low level orgasms. So this is sort of this twofold too. Yes, it's for our health, but this is also why we want to have these conversations and why we want to have the awareness around being able to discern. Am I able to have a high level orgasm right now? Or is this going to be a low level orgasm? Because low level orgasms are like poison for the body. They're toxic, brings in toxic energy, whereas the high level orgasms, like I said, like medicine. So it has so much to do with attitude and approach. I'm just going to take a look at your comment. Yes. Well, and that's the energy exchange. That spring in his step is your spring, 100%. And this is why, number one, like for some women, when they go, oh my God, sex is an energy exchange, and again, why we really want to discern when we are going to say yes to sacred sex, and we can set that boundary with our partners. That was so huge for me. There are times when, like, because it's an energy exchange, our partners and even ourselves, if we are not, if we're acting unconsciously, we might want that with our partner because we're thinking, I want that. I know that this can make me feel better. And so they want that. They want your energy. But we need to be really cautious, especially as feminine beings, is because we are receptive. So it's just sort of double times us, because we're really receiving the energies of our partners. So yeah, we want that spring in our step. That is the healthy energy that we're looking for. So it does have a lot to do with attitude and approach. So when we, like, for example, if you're struggling to have orgasms, if you're struggling to even want to go into a sacred sex practice with yourself or with someone else, this can be just as huge of a marker of your health and wellness as what your diet looks like and what your sleep looks like, right? So sleep, diet, and orgasms are really the three greatest markers of where you are in terms of mental health and wellness. If you are struggling to reach orgasms, this is a beautiful indicator to say, okay, there is something here for me to take time to look at, because there is some work for me to do if I want to be able to shift and step into my vitality. So this is that has to do with attitude and approach. Our conditioned self is this version of ourselves. So we have the authentic self, or our higher self, who is the spirit. It's the soul that we were born as into this lifetime, the expression, the essence, the energy that we came here to be. We also have this beautiful protective mechanism called the conditioned self. Some of you will know it as the ego, where it's beautiful because, again, it's there to protect us, but it will often come in and when we are ever feeling out of alignment, so any of those feelings that just don't feel good, that's a sign that the conditioned self is there and operating. Our conditioned self within a relationship, especially a sexual relationship, we can get into a place where we begin demanding of others, demanding some certain things or expectations of our partner. We might be complaining of not having enough, blaming them for our dissatisfaction, or we might just stay in an unsatisfying relationship. This will cause us to shut down, withdraw, we'll feel resentment for them because we're allowing ourselves to be in a distortion of the present moment when we are living in the conditioned self. The conditioned self is a reflection of lies. So, what, like you could think like anytime where you feel like imposter syndrome, when you're judging yourself, when you're worrying or doubting, this is your conditioned self. Those are the lies. Those are the distortions of your reality. The truth is literally the opposite. But when we are in that energy, it physically takes our energy and limits it. Hey, Sarah, so glad you're here. So our energy can be limited if we are in that conditioned self within our relationship. When this energy builds up, we become turned off. This is when no one wants to have intimacy with a partner who they're resenting, right? And so when we go in, if we don't set our boundaries and we lean into an interaction with a person, our energy is literally going to be turned off. We're going to struggle to reach a state of pleasure. We're going to feel drained. This is that toxic poison energy where we can have a low level orgasm. So you might still orgasm, but and there's so much more that we can go into about this, but I'm not going to dive full in the Sacred Sex 101, which I will be changing the name to Advanced Sacred Sexuality, because really that's what it is. It's not 101, and I don't want to give that impression. So we look at sort of the energy buildup and why it can be draining. It's like we're not ever hitting, we can have the physical release of the orgasm, but energetically, we've never filled our bucket, if that makes any sense. The other thing that can happen is if we are in that state where we just are not feeling open or interested in a sacred sex practice, we might find ourselves in a place where we have not orgasmed in a while. And this will then lead into a lack of desire. And all of those together begin to weaken your life force energy. As women, our life force energy and the center, the birthing place of our life force energy is our womb, is our sacral, which is connected to our sensual energy. So the more that we can come back and have practices to reconnect us to our sensual energy, the more capacity we have to shift out of this weakened state to this elevated state where our life force is flowing, where we are literally the ones who are generating our life force energy as the creatress, as the goddess. This is like how fun and yummy it gets. So when we neglect our body's needs for sexual expression, we are denying ourselves orgasms, likely for too long. And sooner or later, we're going to see an impact on our health. We're going to age more quickly. We're going to feel lethargic. You're going to succumb to likely more sickness, more illness within your life. Usually it starts out small, right? Like it might be just feeling unwell. It might be that decreased energy, but that's the dis-ease. And when we don't address it, the universe is going to start to give us things that are, more obvious markers. And if we don't listen, it's just going to get worse and worse. So this is, again, why we're here having these conversations, is so that we can acknowledge these markers, and also so we can talk about it, feel comfortable, and get to a place where we can say yes, and where we can have that permission piece to come into a wellness practice. So this is what a low-level orgasm can look like. Like I said, this is that toxic energy. Where we have higher level orgasms is like at first, as we were talking about how it has to do with attitude and perspective, when we are feeling good. So when we are more in alignment with our authentic self or our higher self expression, we are going to be in a state where we are going to be open and receptive to a high level orgasm, where we are going to, yes, and it's that permission piece. Absolutely, right? Sarah, and also you're right, like the physical health, this is also so close to the root chakra, which is our safety and security. So, it's just, they're side by side. They're side by side for a reason. And so having these higher level orgasms, they feel really good. And because they feel really good, this is great for our health. This is why in the rose codes, when we're actually going through the series of pleasure codes, why working with orgasms is such a powerful tool is because they are one of the highest frequency practices, embodiment practices we can turn to, right? It's directly connected to our core nature. Again, once we can begin to break down conditioning and programming that we carry around that, once we can break that down, we allow ourselves to open and see the full value, see the full impact, see the absolute resonance. This is like the orgasmic dancing, and also why the power when we do it within a group is because we have everyone's energy. So we have the impact of the enhanced energy from multiple people, then working with the highest level frequency through orgasm. We're opening the portal to such powerful, massive, huge levels of healing. So we have the higher level orgasms because they feel really good naturally and obviously, but not always. It is great for your health. When you're consistently having low level orgasms, there's work to do. When we have these high level orgasms, they take us to these expanded states of perception. This is also the power, right? We've completely opened our channel. We're connected to that quantum realm where our perception is open to receiving insights, downloads, wisdom that is meant uniquely for you. So everyone who engages in these practices, yes, we're all opening to that field, that quantum field, but what comes to each of us is unique we're directly magnetizing the wisdom that is meant for each one of us in terms of how we are meant to create and express in this world, which is so exciting. So high level orgasms take us into extended states of perception where our heart is open, which means love flows unconditionally. And love is just our pure golden abundance that is meant for us. So this is the portal to access that, which looks like a sacred experience, direct connection to the quantum field, to source energy, to your unique creative energy. We can also look at it as it's when, we have the balance of it's sacred union. We have the balance of masculine and feminine energy. So when we have the marriage of those two energies, we give birth to this third energy, which is this life force, new life force energy, whether it is physical life or whether it is whatever you're creating. So this is really, really exciting stuff. So this is the difference between high level orgasms and low level orgasms. It's going to be healing versus toxic. Okay. So when we're also talking about orgasms for your health and wellness, this is what I had mentioned at the very beginning is our bodies intuitively know, because you're a powerful, you are the goddess your body is just flooded with wisdom from this lifetime, from past lifetimes, from magical ancient lineages, all within your body. If we can just surrender and let go and stop trying to control, our bodies know exactly what we need. So this is such a powerful practice in faith. The orgasm for women is so powerful. This is part of that queenship, part of being that divine goddess, is we have that faith and we have that power to draw such powerful creative force through our bodies, through intuition. So that sixth sense that we're connecting to. So if we can completely surrender, our bodies will give us exactly what we need. We need to just surrender control. When we can clear those conditioned voices that are inhibiting us from wanting to surrender to our natural expression, that's the only thing that's preventing us from accessing all of this absolute magic. So our orgasm can make us feel whole, feel healthy, feel vital, feel powerful. Like we all know what it feels like to have just this, divine, juicy, abundant energy flowing through our bodies. And it feels that way because in that moment, you've reconnected with all of life. Like you are at one with this beautiful universe. So the orgasm is more than just a climax or a culmination of really great genital stimulation. This is also the power of sacred sexuality, is that we are moving our pleasure experience beyond just a genital experience. We're moving that energy. This is why, like, I know there's so many people, if you're here, I doubt you're one of these people. I know most of you here totally get the power of energy, but this is something that a lot of people are not even thinking about, which is why, again, why we need to be having these conversations more and more, is so that this just, these seeds are getting planted to people that this is more than just a physical experience. Sacred sexuality is about moving energy. And so when we can move it beyond a genital experience, this is where we actually bring that energy into the heart space to open so that we can do everything we were just talking about. And the types of orgasms can range. Most people think, again, our conditioning, our programming, that like an orgasm is just like this massive explosion, right? Where like fireworks go off. And yes, it can feel like that. But orgasms can also just be a more subtle expression, like a shiver up your spine. So we need to start to just have that whole perspective and stop limiting ourselves from, did I have an orgasm? Did I have an orgasm? Like, that's where I have to get what I was saying at the beginning, right? Where we're just focused on the orgasm and surrendering to, this is a practice where I am expressing myself more fully. This is an opportunity. This is, again, where it comes back into, it's such a sacred practice. It is a sacred ritual where it's not about just the physical experience of the orgasm, right? It's not just limited to the genital expression. It's an energetic expression. And whatever it is that you need to be expressing from a health and wellness vantage point, are you allowing yourself to express yourself fully? That's what a sacred sexual experience is about. This is what the journey to orgasm is about, is expressing yourself fully, not whether was that an orgasm or not. And like I said, the best orgasms are spontaneous, because what you're doing is you're giving that faith in your body to show you and to give you what your body needs, which when we can do that, that takes you back to peace, back to stillness, back to completeness, where you are in total alignment with your core nature. Hi, Jules. I'm so glad, Hebe, this is landing. Exactly. It's all about opening. Yes. And just, this is it, right? Letting the petals unfold. So the best orgasms are spontaneous, because that is the sign that you are in full presence, that you've allowed yourself to let the petals unfold. I use the holistic wheel, which works with south, east, northwest energies. So when we look at those energies and also the directions on that compass or on the wheel, and I'm so glad that you saw, that you hopped on. So when we look at the directions, the directions themselves tell us about the energy that that is moving through us, essentially. So for example, the south is connected to emotions. So when we have a south-based orgasm, this is often something that has to do with moving our waters. So it could be times where we might find our release through laughter or tears. So it has things, and it can also likely G-spot orgasms, where there tends to also be a lot of ejaculation fluids. Sacred waters, right? So south has anything to do where we really are seeing a flow of our sacred waters. West has to do with the earth. So it's anything that restores the body. And often we'll feel this just like almost like earthquakes, where we have these really powerful shakes and tremors that move through our body. So anything where you're really feeling those tremors is likely an orgasm that's coming through from the West energy. The North is connected to the mind. So this is often these orgasms where you get that sensation, like it might be like the fireworks. So you literally might feel like you projected on a rocket ship and you were just floating in space. So this comes in gusts, and it's there to clear your mind. And the East energy is never eat shredded wheat, is spirit. Is spirit. I'm just thinking, what are the other ones we covered? Mind. So East is spirit. And this is all about creating an orgasm that really ignites. So really fiery energy. It's like when you're with a partner and you literally, it's just like heat and passion. Like you literally might be drenched and you guys both feel like you're on fire. This is usually an East orgasm, and it's going to really ignite your creativity. So you're going to feel energized after, and you might want to go journal, or you might want to go create, or you might want to go dance. Like this is an East energy. So there's so many ways that we can experience these orgasms, and you can see how for example, earthquakes with earth, like these are orgasms that get really deep into our body. Like you're really opening the meridian lines of your body. So any traumas or stagnant energy or anything that's just been really trapped in your body, it's just like the earth, right? When her plates crack, they crack deep, and it allows for shifting within within her tectonic plates. This is what you're doing with your body. So you're allowing things to shift and creating space for, the steam or traumas to clear. So it's just, that's so again, I'm glazing over this. We go in depth in advanced sacred sexuality, talking about even more specifically the actual healing that you'll feel within your body. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that for women in particular, we also have two sort of different energies. So we can implode or explode from our orgasms. So implosive orgasms really will physically draw in, like you might curl sort of forward, arch forward in a more of a fetal position. These orgasms are also, in the same sense, drawing us inward. They're drawing us in. So the healing that we'll experience through these implosive orgasms is we're going to feel by going inward, we're leaning in, we're going to be more intuitive, more receptive. And the result from this is that we're actually creating the space for us to then be more open. Whereas our explosive energies are like, you can just picture, I feel like it's like very, I don't know, they're both pretty classic. You'll take these, and next time that you have an orgasmic practice, you will notice that your body will either be implosive or explosive. But explosive is when we arch our back, when your head comes back, exposing the neck, you can feel sort of the tailbone tucks under the belly, the sacral lifts. So this is where at climax we'll really arch, and we're moving our energy outward. And by moving our energy outward, we're being more expressive with our energy, and we're literally expanding our ability to then act more creatively. It's also very similar to like, if you follow the moon cycles, it's just like the new moon is really inward drawing energy. The full moon is outward energy. So you can kind of look at implosive and explosive orgasms in the same sense as that. I would even say play around with noticing what types of orgasms you have around the full moon and new moon. But that's just me. I like to look into all of these things. But this is the point of having these conversations. And by starting your own sacred sex practices and, all of these embodiment practices, is because you start to see it everywhere, and it gives you more information and more understanding about yourself. Jules. Yes, the shuddering. Yes, shuddering and tears. Absolutely. Yeah, the circuit's blown. Yes. And that's it's so beautiful, because you've had full surrender. Whatever was meant to come up, you've created the space for whatever needed to come through. So it comes back to that, have I had the orgasm versus have I expressed myself fully? So whatever was meant to come through, whatever your body needed, you created the space. So celebrating that divine surrender. Yeah, isn't it so fun to work with the moon? Yes. Okay. And then the last piece that I wanted to touch on, just because as we're talking about sacred sex practices for our health, is also talking about self-pleasuring and toys for wellness, because this very much comes back to that permission piece. So just as for some people, it's really hard to think, and I will even tell you, my conditioning is so deep. I still sometimes will have a self-pleasure practice, and my mind will start to be like, should probably be doing something else. And that is one of the biggest flexes for me in full transparency. But I'm so grateful that I have the awareness, because it comes up and I could totally get caught up. I could totally listen to that voice and, hop off and skip out on this incredibly powerful practice. So it's a flex, just like all of this, right? It's first beginning to notice what is coming through, what is my conditioning, and starting to begin to acknowledge that with whatever tenderness you need to be able to move through it. And again, the more that we know and understand, and the more conversations we have, the more that we can have that certainty and awareness and understanding that we want to create space for this. Hello, Elizabeth. So with self-pleasure and turning to toys, this is just another permission piece, right? Because a lot of people will think this self-pleasuring practice, because of course we need to have a sacred practice to connect with our partners. That's part of, why we're in relationships, is to connect intimately. Everything in our culture and our upbringing has taught us, put others first, everyone else first. So self-pleasure practices can sometimes be really, really hard. Sometimes that's the flex, is recognizing that actually, this is really important. And this is for me. This is for my health. This is for my wellness. This is for my mental health, right? Because truly it is. So having this permission piece, it's not just a luxurious, non-essential, extravagant practice. It is integral. It is a really powerful way. And like I'd said too, with the orgasm, because it is so high frequency, when we give ourselves permission, it is profoundly impacting on our health. Also, a lot of people will feel like they are resistant to toys because, again, it comes back to all this program we have around purity. We want to honor our sexual practice, honor our body. We want it to be pure and sacred. And can be this belief that toys, are not pure. But really, we can look at, and I'm super, super excited. If you're local, next month, I'm going to be doing a sex toys as wellness tools in-person session. And at the end of October, I'm going to be doing it online. So everyone can come and get in on that. So, and it's going to be really, really good. We're going to look at a lot of toys, go in depth into really why they are a beautiful tool to bring into your wellness routine. So just bringing this piece around, not resisting sex toys, because again, it comes back to, especially the self-pleasure practice, comes to knowing yourself completely, learning what your erogenous zones are, knowing your erogenous zones, knowing how they like to be worked, knowing your energy throughout your cycle, right? Coming back to that moon phase, not just with the, eternal with external with Gaia's cycles, but knowing those energy cycles within your being. There's going to be times where you don't feel like you want to experience pleasure. How can you love yourself in a way that your body desires, so that you can begin to invite it and tenderly love it to open, so that you can express yourself fully? This is what gets really exciting. And toys are just tools. I mean, some of them, like yoni eggs, or crystal wands. I mean, if you're into embodiment practices, I'm certain that every one of you has crystals somewhere in your house, right? Think of the power of bringing that crystal energy, again, really high vibration energy, into your yoni space. And again, you're connecting that with a really high frequency practice with the orgasm. So this is how we can start to see the beauty of the practice, of the weaving of these energies that you can bring together. The glass crystal ones, again, are a really beautiful way. If you there, and they can be, there's so many different designs. In my link tree, which you can access on Facebook or my Instagram, I have a link to a beautiful, beautiful site. It's called Yoni Pleasure Palace. They're out of Australia. But I've found people who like glass artists local, and I love to support local, but this woman who runs the Yoni Pleasure Palace, she gets it. Like there's the cervix serpent. It's just like the languaging is so sacred. It's connected again to recognizing it as a sacred journey. It's not just a glass dildo or something. It's divine, delicious, yummy, and beautiful. So you can go on and you can also save 10% on there. But the designs of some of these glass wands, it's specifically to focus on your erogenous zones, where you can focus on, yes, if you want to explore your cervix, right? And that's a really deep, powerful orgasm. If you want to explore your G-spot, and we have to do this, and we have to explore to figure out, which erogenous zone we really respond to, like which one's asking for love. And like I said, it's going to change throughout the cycle. All of these things to just explore and discover. So how can you take these tools that are designed for your pleasure to support you? Like, it's support tools. It's unbelievable. So glass wands. But again, we can look at vibrators. Absolutely. A lot of people go, oh, it's like battery operated. It's too much energy. It's not natural, but you can still integrate it with self-exploration. Maybe you're going to use manual stimulation. You're not going to use any toys, and you'll have your fingers in your body connected. Our hands are energetic poles of our body. So again, healing frequency, we give and receive energy through our palms. Integrate that again with the yoni space can be really, really powerful when we are doing it with intention. So you could be manually stimulating while giving your clitoris a little bit of love with a vibrator. So there's so many ways that we can look at this. And to me, if you don't bring toys in as tools, you are limiting the extent to which you can explore. There's going to be times in your cycle, I will bet, where you don't want to use any toys, where you really want that close, intimate connection with yourself. But then there's going to be times where you're really feeling a lot, and you want to feel a lot, and you want to explore. And again, it's just, you're bringing more avenues of exploration in, which means you're adding a depth, you're adding like levels. It's multifaceted, right? Instead of just one dimensional. I still don't, I mean, even if you're just going to go pure and simple, it's not going to be one dimensional because we are working with orgasms, but you know what I mean. So the point is to open the doors in as many ways in which you can know yourself, in which you can explore, in which you can work with orgasms, which are for your health. And it's such a divine feminine practice because, again, when you surrender and let your body heal for you spontaneously in the way that it knows your body needs to be healed, is really, really powerful and beautiful. And the more that we can have these conversations and understanding, the more that we can plant seeds in conversations with girlfriends or sisters or family, whatever it is. So this is the conversation today for orgasms and pleasure as wellness tools, or for your wellness. Like I said, if you're really keen to talk more in depth about this, watch for the in-person programs that are coming up earlier in October, and then I'll be doing an online thing at the end of October. Right now, also, I'm doing a flash 24-hour sale on my astral weaving sessions. So, oh, you're so welcome, Hebe. So if you are interested in doing an astral weaving session, which is as like spiritual counseling, where if you have a block, so if there is a block, and usually most specifically, I am here to support you through any sexual blocks, but it could be anything. If it's a block with business, if it's just, a block with, just with your own energy or feelings, the astral weaving sessions can support anything. So it's if there is a block that is present that is keeping you from being in total alignment with your full expression, we go into this, we work with your spirit team. Usually your spirit team will come in to do a form of healing. And then we will also work with integration. So action pieces, the embodiment pieces, usually, again, those are also your spirit team will sort of give you an inclination of what those should be. And it's really beautiful to see the level in which you are supported. So the astral weaving sessions are on 50% off right now for the next 24 hours. So if you want to book that, again, you can find that in my link, or just message me and we can, I'll send you my Calendly link to book the time and the payment link, easy peasy. But this is a really great opportunity if you've been thinking about wanting to do one with me to book it in and get one 100%. And also the Embody the Goddess, the 6-week individualized. Again, I'm super, super excited by the people who've reached out with interest for this, because I just think, to me, it's like a la carte. If there are modules out of the Rose Codes or Advanced Sacred Sexuality that you are super interested in, you have the opportunity to piecemeal those. So any modules you want, it could be a collection of astral weaving sessions, which really have breakthrough after breakthrough, is really powerful in terms of if you are focused on, or if you have a current vision somewhere you're desiring to get to have that support. So you get 6 weeks of support, sort of a la carte, unique and specific to you. And it's actually 7 weeks because you get, our first session is a consult where we sit down and I hear your vision. What is your vision? What is it that you're looking for right now? And then with my support, we can plan out the 6 weeks that would be most supportive for you to be able to get to your end goal. So that is still available. And I would love to be able to support any of you beautiful souls if that really calls to you. So that's Embody the Goddess, 6 weeks. And it is $888 Canadian, and all of my prices are US. I don't know why, why I went just stuck with Canadian. So that's, it's great pricing for everyone, especially if you're global. So if you are interested in that, please reach out and we can book your free consult to have a chat. So I hope that comes through as divine permission to go and play, to go and explore, to embrace the health and wellness of orgasms and just your natural expression. Reach out, anytime you ever have a question, please reach out. I love hearing from you. And next week, I won't be back on for a live session. It is book club. We are finishing the last couple chapters of Mary Magdalene Revealed. It's been so good. If you're not in the book club and you'd like to be, you're welcome to come and join anytime. If you've not read the whole book or the chapters, it's totally fine. There's so much to receive in the conversations that come through from the women and their shares. So yeah, if you're looking to just sort of be in circle and in sisterhood with anyone, with women, the book club is a really great place to be. We meet on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the week after that is the episode 4 of Sacred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. And I will be having the divine Becca Campbell come on to talk about the divine feminine and flow. So lots and lots to look forward to. So stay tuned and come and join us. And I hope to see some of you in an astral weaving session or in Embody the Goddess. So sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for bringing your beautiful energy in here, whether you're catching it live or on the replay. And I will see some of you next week. All right, take care. So much love. Enjoy your beautiful, beautiful day wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Mwah.